Let's check in now on Xavien Howard. What is going on with the Dolphins superstar cornerback? The subject of a holdout and trade rumors and drama, all of it. The Miami Herald wrote this recently, that unless the Dolphins and Howard can figure this out, a trade very much is possible. It would appear that Howard is digging in at least a little bit right now and really does want a new deal or else. Now, Howard wants that new deal for a variety of reasons. The Dolphins, for reasons we'll get into in a second that do make sense, are hesitant right now to actually restructure that contract. What Howard wants, I think, at minimum, is to not be the second highest paid corner on his own team. Byron Jones came in, got $16.5 million. He and Xavien Howard formed the best 1-2 punch at corner in the entire NFL, allowed them to play a bunch of man coverage, and the defense balled out. But Howard is now no longer a top 5 corner. At the time, when he signed his deal, he was. But now he's like buying Jalen Ramsey, Marlon Humphrey, Trey White, Darius Slay. Now, I don't think that Xavien Howard wants Marlon Humphrey type of money. I think he'd settle for some more guarantees and $16.75 million per year. If that's the case, I'm intrigued from Miami's standpoint. But there's also the matter of setting a precedent here. And Brian Flores explains this quite well. He said, quote, it's a renegotiating of an extension after 1 year, and it's honestly something that hasn't been done before. I'm not saying drawing a line in the sand, but it's different players set the market every single year. And Flores is right. The reality is of life in the NFL, the latest guy ends up getting paid the most. Xavien Howard on his 5-year extension that he signed early with time left on his deal, he's got 4 years left on it. So that makes it difficult for Miami, because if they pay Howard, well, then other players might want a new deal as well. So if you're Miami, even though you don't want to, you should probably at least consider a trade if things really do turn, which I am, again, not sure they will. If he's not at training camp, it's time to consider a trade. So I got 5 destinations here that I put together. Arizona, need a corner. The exact same is true of the Atlanta Falcons, and I think they're trying to win games right now. Seattle, money's an issue, but corner is a need. Maybe they could get creative when they structure the rest of his deal. It's possible. The Jets, cornerback need-wise, maybe the biggest team in the NFL. Like, they got maybe one good corner. They are in desperate need. But I kind of doubt Miami would actually move him to the New York Jets. In-division trade seems unlikely. The dark horse team I wanted to mention here, Houston Texans. The reason? Well, before the Deshaun Watson legal issues came up, Houston allegedly wanted a player back. Xavien Howard would be one hell of a trade chip for Houston and Miami if they were hypothetically going to go do a deal. Because Howard, in reality, is one of the premier corners in the NFL. His play in 2020, opposite Byron Jones, was nothing short of incredible. This is, like, if he does that for 4 years in a row, like, we're talking about, like, wow, this guy's Darrelle Revis 2.0. Yards were high. He got targeted a lot because teams did not throw that much at Byron Jones. But 10 interceptions, 20 pass breakups on 50% completion percentage. That is awesome. That is profoundly impactful play out of your corner. There's a reason why he's asking now to get a bigger contract. It kind of does make some sense. Now, if Miami were to move Xavien Howard, they would be able to figure it out. They have Byron Jones. Justin Coleman's going to handle the nickel corner role. Noah Igbenogany, they brought in one of the McCourty brothers. Nick Needham as well. It's not the same as having Howard out there. I don't want, and I don't think Miami wants, to have to move Xavien Howard. But if he is firm on his I want a new deal, it gets a little bit dicey. So with that in mind, make your predictions for me. What do you believe the Dolphins will end up doing with Xavien Howard? Type in T for trade, or you can type in K for keep. I'm going to bet keep, but I think it's a good idea to at least keep that in mind, that there might be some problems coming for Howard and Miami once we get to training camp. Should the Miami Dolphins go sign Duke Johnson? That's our topic right now. Look, on one hand, the Dolphins could use a running back. They're a little bit thin after they missed out on the big names in the NFL draft. And Duke Johnson has now been linked to Miami by Bleacher Report. And of the available free agent backs, Johnson is one of the best ones out there. He offers a ton of third down value, although I wonder about his, first and second down impact, and frankly, if Miami even needs to add another rusher. First, more on Johnson, though. Last year, purely on the ground, if we are being honest, if we are being truthful in our evaluation, not getting caught up on where he may or may not have went to school, Johnson wasn't very good. Now, his 3.1 yards per attempt last year, substantially lower than the previous years, 4.9 in 2019. 5 flat in 2018. His career average is a full yard above that. That's not even in the end really where Johnson offers the most value. It's less so his actual being a running back and more being, honestly, what was almost a slot receiver at times in his NFL career. The receiving game. 28 catches last year, which was a career low for him. Before that, it was 44 in 2019. Frankly, I don't think Houston utilized Duke Johnson very well, but the pass catching is where he brings the most value. Now, does Miami need what I would argue the stage of his career is mostly a third down back? Get your votes in for me. Do you guys want to sign Duke Johnson? Type in Y for yes you do, or type in N for no you do not. Now, with what Miami has right now on this roster in this room, there's Myles Gaskin, there's Malcolm Brown, there's Xavien Howard as well, and, you could also mention players, Patrick Laird, producer Jeremy loves him, don't really know why. Jordan Scarlett, not great if we're being honest there either. There's also the presence of Gerard Dokes, the 7th-round rookie out of Cincinnati. Maybe he's the guy, but remember, folks, 7th-round picks in general don't end up hitting in the same way you would like them to do normally. In reality, it's a 3-man race to be, I don't know if RB1's even fair for this grouping. Myles Gaskin, Xavien Howard, and Malcolm Brown. Gaskin was the lead back this past year for Miami, 142 carries, had 584 yards, 2 scores. Xavien Howard also kind of sort of fits that third down back role, 75 carries, 319 yards. Malcolm Brown, a veteran figure there on a very cheap contract. He was more depth insurance in case Miami did not draft somebody early, and that's exactly what ended up happening. Now, Duke Johnson turns 28. This is his age 28 season after all. I would have interest in the long run here. I think that there could be a role for him as a third down back, as a safety valve in the end for quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. I would explore this market. I would also explore Lev Bell. I'd explore Todd Gurley. And maybe even more importantly and more impactful in the long run, I would go explore the trade market closer to training camp time. Duke Johnson is what he is at this stage of his NFL career. I don't think the Dolphins should be done looking at options. If Johnson's one of those guys, cool. But I keep my eye out for a trade as well.